Homage to the Venerable Monk Liaoming, to Master Sakya Zhengkong, to the 16th Dharma King Karmapa, and Master Thupten Dorje. Homage to the three jewels of the altar. Homage to the main deity of the group practice today, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. Simu, all Dharma masters, Dharma educators, Dharma teachers, Dharma lecturers, Dharma assistants, all disciples here and over the webcast, and our guest of honors today, the accountant of the True Buddha Foundation, Dharma Sister Teresa, Dr. Zhou, from the CTI TV of Taiwan, the producer for the Illuminating Your Heart, Dharma Sister Rebecca Xu, Dr. Zhuang, dentist, welcome. May all be auspicious. Today we practice the Kuan Yin Bodhisattva Dharma. And Kuan Yin Bodhisattva is the most compassionate, and she has most manifest bodies. So there are many names to Kuan Yin Bodhisattvas. In Tibet, primarily they are the four-armed Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, the Chenrezig. And the whole Tibet is the spiritual center for Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. And also in China, the Putuo San and Luojia San are the spiritual centers of Kuan Yin. And for Chinese, we like to worship Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. And in Taiwan, in the past, there what we call is the Kuan Yin Cha. It's an image of Kuan Yin, and Kuan Yin is in the middle, and the celestial mother Ma Zu below. In Taiwan, that's what we saw, that almost every household, Kuan Yin is worshipped, and above is Kuan Yin, and below is the celestial mother Ma Zu. That's called the Kuan Yin Sara. And we can still see that in the villages. But in the past, almost every household worshipped Kuan Yin, because Kuan Yin Bodhisattva is very compassionate. Whether in Taiwan or China or Southeast Asia, almost everyone would recite the Namo Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. Only during the Tang Dynasty they would recite Namo Kuan Yin Buddha. So how come Kuan Si Yin Bodhisattva becomes Kuan Yin Bodhisattva? Because at that time the king or the emperor was called Li Siming, and there's the word Si, the same Si. So Kuan Yin Bodhisattva has to give way. So they said that after that they should recite Kuan Yin Bodhisattva and not Kuan Si Yin Bodhisattva, because of the name of the emperor is the same as the name of the Kuan Yin, just one of the syllable. So the emperor said that as if being an emperor is really great. So Kuan Si Yin, the name of Kuan Si Yin has been changed to Kuan Yin. But for us, they're all the same. Kuan Si Yin Bodhisattva is the same as Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. They are the same. So there's some reservations in the human world that's not necessary. Like my name, Sheng-Yen Lu. In Taiwan, there are 16 people with the exact same name. But there are many disciples who ask me to give them names, and I like to use the name Yen. Sometimes Sheng, sometimes Yen. So if the family name is Lu, then I would call them Lu Yen or Lu Sheng. Like the son of Master Lian Ho, Yen Ting, Yen Li, Yen Nam. They all with the same name Yen. Did I give the names? Yes. So I like other people to use the same name as mine. The name Yen is good. It seems to be a well-educated. The name Yen refers to a well-educated person. So I like to use this name to give others. How could the younger generation use the same name as Grandmaster Lu? So if your family name is Lu, then you can all be called Lu Yen. Lu Yen sounds nice. Lu Sheng also sounds good. I like just to give two names in Chinese. It's short and powerful. So if you have two names in the Chinese name with just two syllables, and then you can write your name fast. You don't need to write three names. Because in the naming Scientology, it's like this. There are three kinds. It's the number of strokes. The other one is the sound. And the third one is the meaning. The meaning of the name. The sound and then the number of strokes. So that's the three key points, and it's good to have two syllables in the Chinese name. Because there's that heaven, earth and human characters. You know, whether auspicious or not, it's easier when you only have two characters to your name. And there are many great people with two names, two characters in their name. that in the Lu clan there was one that became a prime minister, Lu Zi. So his name had only 2 characters. So Kuan Si Yin Bodhisattva became Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. That's fine. It's easy to chant. Actually, it's the same. And Bodhisattva is very compassionate. That Li Siming, emperor of Tang Dynasty, changed her name. So Li Siming made the phone call. The emperor. He changed the name of Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. So in the ancient time, such things happen. But in the modern times, there is no issues about things, and Grandmaster views everyone as equal. Because in Grandmaster's opinion, those who had attained the wisdom of equality would view everyone as equal. There is no one that's especially to be liked or to be disliked. So you view all beings equally. If there is a discrimination, then there's not Bodhidharma. But actually, it is also Bodhidharma. Like the wisdom of miraculous observation with the amazing observation, you would know that actually all beings are equal. So, truthfully, Buddha Dharma is like the wisdom of mirror-like wisdom. It's very complete and perfect. Not like some other religions that regard that my religion is right and your religions are wrong. So they have this discrimination between right and wrong. But a true Buddha Dharma are in the wisdom of mirror-like. There are no rights, no wrongs, no good, no bads. That kind of Bodhidharma is perfect, and it is called limitless Wuzheng. It's Buddha Dharma. Buddhism is a religion of no contention. So there is no contention in Buddhism, but many other religions do have it. So there are many contentions generated among religions, but Buddhism is a rather complete one. So the compassion of Kuan Yin Bodhisattva is also quite perfect. She helps and salvages sentient beings, widely helps sentient beings, and have so many manifestations to help beings. And there is a sutra of Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. It's the responsive delivery of Kuan Yin Bodhisattva Sutra. So it records all the various experiences, miraculous experiences of Kuan Yin salvaging sentient beings. I myself highly revere Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. And Kuan Yin Bodhisattva is also a family of Amitabha Buddha. If you worship Amitabha Buddha, like every day I recite, Namo Amitabha Buddha, Namo Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, Namo Mahastama Bodhisattva. Because On the sides of Amitabha Buddha, there are two attendants. One is Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, and the other one is Mahastama Kuan Yin Bodhisattva. So when you recite the name of Amitabha Buddha, you also want to recite the names of Kuan Yin Bodhisattva and Mahastama Bodhisattva. So when you go there, not only Amitabha Buddha would recognize you, but both Kuan Yin Bodhisattva and Mahastama Bodhisattva would also recognize you. A Buddha is alive. All these Buddhas behind me are alive. The other night, when we asked for divinity or divination or divine consultation, there by all the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, they're all alive. And the answers came very quickly, even faster than when I did my spiritual consultation. So they're all alive. And not only the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas here, even above that incense burner, there is the guardian youth there, the incense burner guardian, and also the fortunes, the fortune teller. There's also guardian there. And then if you place offerings here on the altar, there are also the altar cleaner youth. So they clean up all the offerings and all the leftover offerings. So like the Zhu Ba Jie, the pig in the journey to the west, is also called the altar cleanser, altar cleaner youth. And we also have Shen Ching Tze, and then one of the most pure Dharma protector next to the Buddha is the Wei Tuo Zunzi. So Skanda. And in the Homa Hall at the Rainbow Temple, there's the Shen Ching Tze and Wei Tuo Zunzi Skanda. And they were offered by the temple from Hong Kong. And then they actually ordered them for their temple, but it was too big for their temple. So finally, they gave it to the Rainbow Temple. The Sifang 10-directional chapter in Hong Kong. So that was the Rainbow Temple's fortune to have that. Why didn't they give it to the Seattle Lichang Temple? So Rainbow Temple is very fortunate. And in the future, they will build a columbarium. Should be soon. We already have the blueprint, the design. And if it's approved, then the project will go on step by step. Now we will continue talking about the great bliss, the emptiness within the great bliss. And in the Rainbow Temple, I did talk about the form Hevajra, sound Hevajra, smell Hevajra, taste Hevajra, touch Hevajra, the joy Hevajra, Samaya Hevajra, and wisdom Hevajra. So Manjushri Bodhisattva represents wisdom. And Kuan Yin Bodhisattva represents compassion. But does Kuan Yin Bodhisattva have wisdom? Of course. And does Manjushri Bodhisattva have compassion? Of course he has compassion. But which is brought to focus their strength. The three key in Tantrayana, one is compassion, Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, one is wisdom, Manjushri Bodhisattva, and third is Dharma power, which is Vajrasattva. The three key reliances. So as a tantric practitioner, you need to have compassion, wisdom, and Dharma power. You need to generate power. And Hevajra also have wisdom. Hevajra has his wisdom. And his wisdom is considered the outer appearance. But the Idam Hevajra is considered the Sambhogakaya, or the reward body, is very majestic. And the power and name Hevajra, what does it mean? He has his power and he has his name and status. So in your spiritual cultivation, if you gain spiritual response with Hevajra, you would gain his power and his fame. This will be generated, and you would be the Yidam of Hevajra, and you would also be very wise. And then next is the righteous, the most wise Hevajra. So this represents that Hevajra comprehend the empty nature and the bliss of the Buddha and the empty nature. So that's the most wise Hevajra. So these 11 self-nature Hevajra appear one by one in the cultivator's spiritual cultivation, and he resides in the yogi's body to empower the yogi, to dignify and benefit the yogi. So in your spiritual cultivation, he would appear one by one, and he resides in the yogi's body to empower the yogi, to dignify and to benefit the yogi and the all sentient beings. And all of this completely rely on qi entering into the central channel. That's why you can see how important it is for the qi to enter into the central channel. So qi being in the central channel is very important. So the treasure vase qi yoga actually also a kind of qigong. You breathe in the qi, and then the upper body qi descend and the lower body qi ascend and becomes like a vase. And because there are some holes in your central channel, and the central channel pass through the brow chakra, the throat chakra, the heart chakra, the navel chakra, and the secret chakra, and the base chakra. So at the intersection with the chakras, there are some holes. So if you can make the qi enter into the central channel, and this heart-mind qi resides in the central channel, then the central channel would be open. Then once you open your central channel, you would have the 8 self-masteries and the 11 self-natures. These will be generated. This is how the Hevajra talk about it. Oh, what happened? This kind of joke. So we should not just lightly believe anyone that said they can help you qi entering into the central channel by giving you blessing. Of course, there is only a phenomena of a moment. There is some power of the blessing. But opening the central channel relies on yourself. It's your own qi that enters into your central channel, not other people's qi. So you should not believe such an ad. So there's this ad. You don't need to be hospitalized, and you don't have to be operated on. Someone can help your XX to become big and long. So this person was very pleased, so he sent for it. And then a few days later, he got the package. And then he was very anxious to open it, and it turned out to be a magnifier. So that's why you should not believe the ads. Sometimes the ads just trick you. We should rely on ourselves to practice the treasure-based energy yoga. You have to rely on yourself. You cannot rely on other people's power. No one can give you blessing and then make your central channel open immediately. That's impossible. It cannot be done. Or someone that says giving blessings and then the qi can enter into the central channel. Actually, there's a way to make the qi entering into the central channel, like the treasure-based yoga and the Hevajra chanting. So most importantly, you have to rely on yourself. So with the exhalation and inhalation, so with the inhalation, you breathe in the air. Exhalation, you breathe out the air. And the qi that enters into the central channel would become the wisdom qi. And the leftover qi has to be breathed out. Striptease dancer, a female striptease dancer, that went to see a dermatologist, and then she said, it is not worth it for us in this career to go see a doctor. Because in front of the doctor, I take off my clothes, I have to pay. But usually when I take off my clothes, I get paid. So the situation is different. So don't believe anyone that said that can give you blessings and then open your central channel, because this has to rely on yourself completely. The situation is different. In order to open your central channel, you have to rely on yourself. If someone said that they can open it for you, they're just tricking you. They're just cheating you trying to get some money out of you. That's why the treasure vase energy yoga is very important, and the Vajra chanting is also very important. Both treasure vase energy yoga and Vajra chanting. And Guru Padmasambhava once said a very important statement, that all merits come from the treasure vase chi. So in order to do the inner practices of channels, light drops and inner fire, first you have to practice the treasure vase chi yoga. And after a long while, naturally, the chi will enter into the central channels. And once the central channels open, you would have many symptoms or signs of the spiritual response. Now we will continue on chapter 28. The detailed explanation of the purity of the four blisses. We all know that here on the crown chakra there is a Han 6-syllable light drops, and this is also called Bodhi chakra in Buddhism. Han character. Light drops is right here, and from the crown chakra it descends to the throat chakra. In this process, the Dharma joy is small. That's why it is called the initial bliss. So when it is descending to the throat chakra, it's still very blissful, but it is small. And the afflictions cut off by this initial bliss is the parikalpita swabhava, which is the nature of maintaining the seemings to be real, and innate ignorance. So the innate ignorance can be cut off. Why does this happen? So this is about the light drop Dharma practice here. This is very important. This is your light drop. The light drops here, it is called Bodhi chakra. And when the inner fire or tumo is ascending until it touches the light drops here at the brow chakra, it would be melted and drips and would pass through the throat. And then this initial bliss would be generated. You would feel it. You would know. So that's why at this time it is halfway cut off and halfway not. And at this time, the breathing is only half. It is passing through the throat chakra. And because of this, one can realize the no-self or non-ego of Putkala and attain the fruition of the solitary hearer. Putkala is someone waiting to be a Buddha. So Buddha in waiting. So at that time you become an arhat. Once I said that I went to the Todaiji in Nara in Japan, and when I look at the temple in the dragon side, they enshrine a big image of an arhat there. When I visited there, I took a look at him, and his eyes have light and also look at me. So I knew that he's there. That Arhat was there. That Arhat was the long brow Arhat, was also called Pindolu. Why is he on earth? Because when the Buddha was inside the house, in the bamboo grove, in front of the nice abode of the bamboo grove, there was a tall tree, and someone climbed the tree and placed a bag there. And this long brow Arhat saw that and then asked them, so why did you place the bag there? And they said, well, why don't you show me your transcendental supernatural power for us to enjoy? Please show us. And then so Pindolu intentionally wanted to making a show of his supernatural power. So he flew lightly and took the bag down. And then the Buddha heard of this incident. And you did not show your transcendental power for the sake of helping sentient beings. What you did was meaningless. So that's why you're now punished to always stay in the human world. So this is the long brow Arhat, Pindolu. So when Pindolu saw me, I remember him and he remembered me. We were very close. We were buddy-buddy. So I saw his eyes radiating light, keep looking at me. So I told him, so long brow Arhat, please give some miracles to the people here that follow me. So I told the people that were traveling with me that, hey, if you have any illnesses in your body, touch that part of the image and then you would be cured. And the attorney, Luo Reliang from Malaysia, he had stomach ulcer really bad and he was very skinny and very pale. So he climbed onto that statue and then touched his stomach area. And then his ulcer, his stomach was cured. He did not have any pain anymore. Now he can eat whatever he could not eat before. And his complexion is a lot better. That's the attorney, Luo Reliang. So this time I asked him, when were you cured, your stomach ulcer? Because after I touched the statue of Pindolu, that in Malaysia they were going to make a grand offering for all the Sangha members. So the rule of the Buddha, the only Arhat that stays in the human world is Pindolu. All the other Arhats went to different realms or the heavens. Only you would stay in the human world. So Sakyamuni Buddha is compassionate toward him that in the future anyone making an offering to the monks and nuns, so next to the host's chair, the main position, which is the dragon side, the second main position that would be offered to Pindolu, and you need to place the cutlery and placement there, and also the food as an offering to him. So that's the rule that's set up by Sakyamuni Buddha. whenever there's an offering for the monks and nuns, there would always be a place for pindolo. So the meaning of Pudgala is the Buddha to be. So the Arhats and the Sravakas, they're all Buddhas to be, waiting to be a Buddha. And next, the light drops descend from the throat chakra to the heart chakra, and the bliss gradually increases. This is the superior bliss, very blissful. So I've said this before, when Qi is in the central channel, there would be bliss. And when the inner fire is in the central channel, there would also be bliss. And the light drop going up and down in the central channel, will also be bliss. And this is also called the Dharma joy, or the Buddha's bliss. And this kind of bliss is happy to die, happy to death. We often say that happy to death. There is nothing more blissful than this bliss. It is a bliss that's near death. Actually, this kind of joke is a suffering, not a joy. Xiao Zhao just got married and he's complaining. It's worse courting a woman rather than running after a thief. What are you talking about? You just got married. And Xiao Zhao said, you know, after you caught the thief, you can get the things back. But when you caught the woman, the loss is just beginning. So marriage is not just a joy, but sometimes marriage is also not pleasant. That's why the divorce rate is high, because they're not happy in marriage. If you're happy in your marriage, then you will not get divorced. So this superior bliss is like happy to die. And the ultimate bliss of the world is also happy to die. But there is something even more blissful, which is when Qi, when the inner fire and the light drop, is moving in the central channel. That kind of bliss is really, really supreme. And the afflictions cut off by the superior bliss is ignorance, and the parikalpita sabhava, or the nature of maintaining the seeming to be real, is stopped. So all the ignorance, the foolishness, the delusions, they all can be cut off. And then you would generate a kind of wisdom. But anusaya, or the latent tendencies, has not been stopped. In sleep, you still have foolishness. But if you're not in sleep, then you would have such bliss. And the bliss also embody wisdom. So 3 out of the 4 afflictions have been cut off, but one has not. By maintaining the state of no self, one can realize the concept of no self nature and cut off the pratyeka Buddhahood. What is the pratyeka Buddha? Pratyeka Buddha is a Buddha, but why is this Buddha called pratyeka Buddha? Because pratyeka Buddha still has arrogance and pride that has not been subdued. He has achieved Buddhahood, but he is full of pride and arrogance, and that's called pratyeka Buddha. And this arrogance is not right. Very proud. And because of this proud, it would generate a kind of affliction. So after the Sravaka or solitary hearing, that's the pratyeka Buddha. So the initial bliss and the superior bliss make good use of the great bliss to attain the self-mastery of the Sambhogakaya. When the light drops descends through the throat chakra to the heart chakra, you would have the self-mastery of Sambhogakaya. Your body would be very joyful. I've said this before, like in the Rainbow Temple. As a human being, sometimes we have some afflictions. But when you attain the utmost bliss, then you would think that, oh, all those miseries are gone. You would have such a feeling, but that's still not enough. When you generate the 4 blisses, and you only reach the second bliss, you cut off 3 out of the 4 afflictions. Then you can cut off the pratyeka Buddhahood. And when the light drops descend to the navel chakra, which is the forefinger width below the navel, this is the dignified, undiscerning bliss. There is no discernment, no discrimination. So when it reached the navel chakra, the wisdom of equality would be generated. So when this wisdom of equality is generated, then this is very close to enlightenment. Why? When light drops descend to the navel chakra, this is the dignified, undiscerning bliss and referred as the supreme bliss. And the affliction cut off by supreme bliss is all the anusaya or latent tendencies. It cut off bodhisattvahood. Even bodhisattvahood is cut off. And all the discerning plays of games are stopped. Therefore, the self-mastery of Dharmakaya is attained. So this indiscrimination is close to empty nature. And bodhisattva, as a bodhisattva, one still has attachment. He salvages all sentient beings, but he still has some ignorance or delusion, because he has to deliver sentient beings. So that's his ignorance. Like Kuan Yin Bodhisattva, he has to deliver sentient beings. But sentient beings not necessarily have faith in him, but he still wants to deliver them. So deliver anyone, whether they have affinity with you or not. He does not know that there is empty nature behind it. So Bodhisattva has not reached Buddhahood, but already close to Buddhahood. And the position of a Bodhisattva is already very high. But this can cut off Bodhisattvahood. A wife told her husband, told the doctor, my husband's condition worried me. His memory has lots of problems. I would speak to him for many hours, and then I found out that he did not even listen to any of them. And the doctor told this lady, no, this is not a problem. He is very fortunate because he has this rarely found virtues of man. Whether you understand, you understand. If you don't, you don't. That's fine. If you don't understand, it's fine. So Bodhisattva is like that. Bodhisattva with the grand heart. Always very nagging, always recommend, always guiding you, always trying their best, going out of their way to guide people, and people don't necessarily listen to them. Tell the greedy ones not to be greedy, the angry one not to be angry, and the foolish one not to be foolish, but they keep doing it out of their way. So Bodhisattva is a Bodhisattva. So they're very driven, very diligent in their salvation, but people not necessarily one. So I don't know whether you understand it or not. If you have not reached the state, maybe you still don't comprehend it. And finally, the light drops descend to the secret chakra, or the generation chakra. And due to the merging of bliss and empty nature, this is the innate or the ultimate bliss. This realm is called the innate bliss. So the bliss that you carry with you when you're born. So when light drops descend to the secret chakra but not emitted, it's not, there's no emission, just at the secret chakra. At this time, the bliss that you obtain is perfect, and you would comprehend what is the empty nature. At this time, you're also enlightened, and you comprehend what enlightenment is. I have said that this innate bliss is also enlightenment. So you comprehend empty nature, you comprehend the bliss, and bliss merges with the empty nature, and empty nature merges with the bliss. And both would obtain this innate bliss. I can only explain this way because this is very difficult to explain. So what kind of joy is there in the human world? The judge A talked to judge B. The defendant is remarrying, so why did you prosecute heavily? And then Judge B said, because I hate people who make the same mistake twice. So you can just try to understand it. I cannot. I can only hint. So bliss can be transformed into emptiness, and emptiness transformed into bliss. In Buddha Dharma is that way. In the realm of the innate bliss, all afflictions are stopped. It also cut off the way to bodhisattvahood, because the light drops have not congealed, the self-mastery of nirmana kaya is attained. So when the light drops are not completely robust, you cut off the way to the body. When you comprehend the empty nature, you cut off all your afflictions. A bodhisattva also have affliction. The affliction of a bodhisattva is because in his salvation of sentient beings, not many sentient beings listen to him. So that's the affliction, the trouble of bodhisattva. But when bodhisattva attain innate bliss, he would understand. At this time, all the afflictions are cut off. There are no more afflictions. Why? Because you have attained the true empty nature, a complete perfection. Actually, even bliss is empty. And within the emptiness, there's also bliss. So that's why emptiness within great bliss. So the dual execution of empty nature and bliss. So such a realm will be generated at this time because the light drops have not congealed robustly the self-mastery of Nirmanakaya. So Nirmanakaya, which is the transformation or manifestation body. So it's like your body would gain self-mastery. So Grandmaster should not have any afflictions because Grandmaster has attained enlightenment, should attain the empty nature, so there should not be any more afflictions. How could there be any afflictions? No. And once you attain the empty nature, your body would also gain self-mastery. No matter what you encounter, what adversity you encounter, you can eliminate it. It will not tie knots inside your heart. Grandmaster has suffered in the past that my path in this human world encounter many adversities, but it's very easy to untie the knots of those miseries. It would become no suffering, no miseries, no afflictions, because I don't know anything. I don't know anything. Because I don't know. It's not that there is no affliction. There is affliction. But because I don't know, then I don't know. Then you would ask, Grandmaster, but you know. How come when you know, you become that you don't know? Maybe you don't understand. But actually I know, but I forget them all. So that's the path of liberation. You liberate all the afflictions. Why can you be liberated? Because I comprehend the empty nature and the existence of enlightenment. And existence is affliction. So afflictions do exist. Within empty nature, they don't. But why can you be liberated from the afflictions? Because when you enter into the empty nature, you could be liberated from all those afflictions. So it is okay to die. I am not afraid of the Mara of death. I will die sooner or later. So whether I die sooner or later, it's okay to have afflictions because I can liberate them all. It's okay to be sick, but being sick, it would be terrible. I'm scared of sickness. But being sick, you should understand that you can melt all the sicknesses using empty nature. The sicknesses of your body can be melted with empty nature, and it's okay for you to be sick. So the Mara of death, Mara of sickness, Mara of afflictions, and the heavenly Mara, or the Mara of the mind, how could you liberate yourself of the Mara of the mind. The heavenly Mara always tests those who are attaining realization. They use all different kinds of tests. And then you can treat the heavenly Mara as the compassionate Bodhisattva to give you challenges and tests. So the appearance of the heavenly Mara is also compassion. So once you know that this heavenly Mara comes to test you, and you know that the Mara is also empty, actually, when you don't know anything, then you're close to emptiness. Like in the daily life, Grandmaster has no cell phone, no computers. I have a TV at home, but I only watch some news to know a little bit of the world news, and I don't watch anything else. I don't make phone calls, no internet. Then you don't know anything. When you don't know, then you're emptied out. Then where would the afflictions be? I don't know. Frankly speaking, all those years from my youth until now, I never got on the internet. And Simu told me it's very easy, just touch the keys. I don't know, and I don't want to learn. I never get on the net even once. I don't know anything. So why would the afflictions be with me? Because I don't see them. And I don't see the media, the magazines, the weekly magazine of Hong Kong or Taiwan. The next media in Hong Kong or Taiwan, when they had articles on me, I didn't read them, or the internet. So I told my masters, you don't need to tell me whether there's good news or bad news. Don't tell me. I don't know anything. This is my method of liberating myself from the afflictions. And every night I have a good sleep. Every night. And then in the daytime I have good spirit, good energy. I don't listen to what other people tell me. I am a rare species, a rare virtue of man. Most people will get really anxious as soon as they hear something. What should we do? What should we do? But I'm not like that, because I don't know. So it's best for you to learn to be like me. It's happiest to be like me when you don't know anything, and when you lie down on the bed, you would fall asleep right away, and then the next morning you would have a good spirit, and then write my books and do my practice. And I would let all my Dharma protectors to take care of things. I don't have to take care of them myself. So there's this women are most realistic. prior to marriage, if you ran into a glass door, he would ask, "Oh, are you okay? You're not hurt?" But after marriage, if you run into a glass door, she would say, "Oh no, is my door okay?" These are all afflictions. So, in my life, all I do is I write, paint, do my practice, and then eat and sleep. I don't do anything else. And the rest, who does that? Simu. Simu does the rest. Simu work hard because I focus on my spiritual cultivation. I practice every day. I write every day. And all the troublesome problems, like when the glass broke at home, Simu took care of it. When the light bulb went off, she would climb on the ladder and fix it. I don't know how to do that. When the television broke, she would call people who knew how to repair it. She took care of all that. I didn't feel anything even when I walked past by it. So Simu worked very hard. So Simu had to. She took care of a lot of things, and I didn't do anything. And Simu washed the clothes at home and sweep the floor at home and took care of all the everything at home. I never even took the broom. And I never cooked anything. Simu did all of those. When things broke, the glass, she would call on the repairman. The alarm broke, and she called on the repairman. And anything. If you ask me where's the toolbox, I don't know. Simu would know. The batteries, where are they? I don't know. Simu would know. How would you use the washing machine? I don't know. Simu would know. I never even touched the washing machine until now. All done by Simu. And washing dishes, I never washed them. They were all done by Simu. All the bowls and chopsticks, they were washed by Simu. All the errands. But for me, all I take care of is writing my book and practicing my spiritual cultivation. She knows computers, contacting all the disciples. Everyone just finds Simu. Nobody ever finds me because I have no cell phone. She has Apple iPhone. And also Apple computer. iPhone 5? 4 or 5? She has iPhone 4 that install iPhone 5 things. So all the contacts done by Simu, and she can just speak to the phone and texting. Someone asked me to use the iPhone. Someone gave me an iPhone. I couldn't do it. And I just touch what I like, and I don't know how to use it. So I couldn't hear anything. When I speak, it didn't connect. So here, thank you to Zimu for money pay me home.